You are on the right place that's about to transform your social life, and your days of awkward silences and foot-and-mouth moments are numbered. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another video promising to make me a smooth talker? Yeah, right. But stick with me for the next few minutes, and I promise you'll walk away with practical tips that'll have you chatting up a storm in no time. Whether you're an introvert looking to break out of your shell or an extrovert aiming to fine-tune your people skills, this video is for you. So, what's in store? We'll explore the power of observation, the importance of practice, and yes, we'll even talk about how that smartphone glued to your hand might be sabotaging your social skills. Plus, we'll dive into some fascinating psychology and real-world studies that'll make you go, huh, I never thought of it that way. Let's kick things off with a little something I like to call the People Watcher's Guide to Conversation Mastery. No, I'm not suggesting you turn into a creepy stalker, but have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly navigate social situations? It's like they've got a secret playbook, right? Well, here's the kicker. They do, and it's been right under your nose this whole time. You see, humans are pattern recognition machines. We're hardwired to pick up on social cues and behaviors. It's how our caveman ancestors figured out who was friend or foe without ending up as a saber-toothed tiger's lunch. Dr. Albert Bandura, a pretty smart cookie in the world of psychology, came up with something called social learning theory. In a nutshell, it says we learn a ton just by watching others. So next time you're out and about, pay attention to the social butterflies around you. How do they start conversations? What kind of body language do they use? It's like having a free masterclass in social skills, minus the hefty tuition fee. But here's the catch, and you knew there had to be one, right? Observing alone won't cut it. You've got to put those newfound skills into practice. I can already hear some of you groaning, but talking to people is scary. Trust me, I get it. The thought of striking up a conversation with a stranger used to make my palms sweatier than a snowman in a sauna. Here's a little secret, everyone feels that way at first. Even the most charismatic people you know probably started out feeling as awkward as a penguin at a flamingo convention. The difference? They pushed through that discomfort and practice. Now, I'm not saying you need to go from social hermit to life of the party overnight. Start small. Maybe strike up a conversation with your Batista about their coolest coffee creation, or compliment someone on their awesome t-shirt while waiting in line. These tiny interactions are like social push-ups, building your conversational muscles one rep at a time. But wait, there's a plot twist in our story of social conquest. Enter the villain of our tale, the smartphone. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my phone as much as the next person. It's like a magic wand that can summon cat videos and pizza with equal ease. But when it comes to honing our people skills, these pocket-sized miracles can be more of a curse than a blessing. Think about it. How often have you used your phone as a social shield, pretending to be deeply engrossed in a riveting game of Candy Crush just to avoid eye contact on the bus? We've all been there. But every time we retreat into our digital fortresses, we miss out on potential connections and opportunities to flex those conversation muscles. A study published in the journal Computers and Human Behavior found that the mere presence of a smartphone during face-to-face interactions reduced the quality of conversation and connection between people. It's like trying to have a heart-to-heart while a tiny robot is constantly whispering, "Hey, check me out instead." So here's a radical idea. Next time you're out in public, try leaving your phone in your pocket. I know it sounds terrifying, but trust me, the world won't end if you're not immediately available for every notification. Instead, use that time to observe the people around you, maybe even strike up a conversation. Who knows, you might just make a new friend or learn something fascinating. Now let's talk about the psychology behind great conversations. Ever heard of the pratfall effect? It's a fancy term for a simple idea. People like you more when you show a bit of vulnerability. In other words, it's okay to not be perfect all the time. In fact, it makes you more relatable and approachable. So next time you're chatting with someone and you fumble your words or make a silly joke that falls flat, don't sweat it. Laugh it off. You might just find that your conversation partner warms up to you even more. After all, nobody likes talking to a robot unless it's serving you coffee, then it's pretty cool. Here's another pro tip. Ask questions. And I don't mean the boring, "what do you do for a living" kind of questions. Get creative. Ask them about the last book that kept them up all night reading, or what superpower they'd choose if they could have any. Not only does this make for more interesting conversations, but it also taps into something psychologists call the self-disclosure effect. People love talking about themselves, and when you give them the opportunity to do so, they tend to like you more. But remember, conversation is a two-way street. While asking questions is great, don't turn it into an interrogation. Share your own thoughts and experiences too. It's all about finding that sweet spot between curiosity and openness. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I'm an introvert. Talking to people drains my energy faster than a smartphone battery on 1%. First off, high five to my fellow introverts out there. And second, don't worry. Being an introvert doesn't mean you can't be great at talking to people. It just means you need to approach it differently. Susan Cain, author of Quiet the Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, points out that introverts often excel at forming deep, meaningful connections. So while you might not be the life of every party, you have the potential to be the person someone remembers having an amazing conversation with long after the party's over. For my introverted friends, the key is to play to your strengths. You're probably great at listening and picking up on subtle cues. Use that. And remember, it's okay to need time to recharge after social interactions. Quality over quantity, always. As we wrap up this conversational crash course, let's recap our secret formula for getting better at talking to people. Observe and learn from the social butterflies around you. Practice, practice, practice. Even small interactions count. Put down the phone and engage with the world around you. Embrace imperfection and show a little vulnerability. Ask interesting questions and be genuinely curious about others. Find the approach that works for your personality type. Remember, becoming a great conversationalist isn't about transforming into someone you're not. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, someone who connects genuinely with others, shares ideas, and maybe even makes the world a little bit brighter, one conversation at a time. So, are you ready to take on the challenge? To step out of your comfort zone and into a world of fascinating conversations and meaningful connections? The secret's out now. It's all up to you to put it into action. Thanks for watching, and hey, why not start practicing right now? Leave a comment below sharing your favorite conversation starter. Who knows? You might just spark an interesting discussion right here. Until next time, keep talking, keep connecting, and keep being awesome.